Hey everybody, this is Spoonie, and I want to take a few minutes to vent my frustrations with the current development of Kerbal Space Program 2 and the state of the game. As many of you know, this game has been in development for a long time. In fact, its initial release date was set for 2020 after it was revealed in 2019. There were a few snags in development, and the game was ultimately delayed several times. It eventually launched into early access in February 2023, and that launch has been a disaster. At first, the game was borderline unplayable, from low frame rates on even beefier machines to wobbly rockets that would just break apart for no reason or randomly explode. Getting out of the atmosphere became a mix of just luck and perseverance. And while we did get a few patches here and there to fix some of those problems, we didn't really get a fix for that issue for almost 10 months. The game was and still is missing many of the promised features, including interstellar travel, colonies, multiplayer, re-entry heat. It is a shell of Kerbal Space Program 1 even in its earlier days. It was missing so many things that the first part of the roadmap was a tech tree for the items that are already in the game, and we didn't get that for 10 months. That was 5 months ago now, and we still have no word on when the next milestone will be reached, which is colony parts. But even that update doesn't include resource gathering or many of the other aspects that makes colonies useful in the first place. In December of 2023, the Force Science update was released and brought some relief by fixing the wobbly rocket issues, it added re-entry heat, and it gave a new mode with a tech tree progression. But that's it. And I know it's a complex game and that in some ways it's literally rocket science, but if it takes 10 months to implement a tech tree and progression for items that are already in the game, it just feels like a really bad sign. Yes, the graphics are updated, and while that's great, we could just add graphics mods to Kerbal Space Program 1 and get a more complete Kerbal Space Program 2 than we currently have. Yes, I'm very salty. Not just because of the abysmally slow pace of the development, but because they are charging $50 for this, and that's the price of a AAA game in full release. I wouldn't be mad at that price tag if this was a fully realized release of Kerbal Space Program 2, or at least a very close early access. After all, I want to support the development of the games I want and would enjoy, but right now it just feels like a cash grab for something that's looking less and less likely to ever deliver on the promises it made. If they had come out with a $10 or even $20 early access, acknowledging that the game isn't ready, but they know many people are excited to try out what they do have while they're still working, I would think that that's a great way to support the development of the game, and I wouldn't be quite so picky about the slow pace. The larger issue here though is that while the state of the game isn't acceptable 15 months after release, the devs aren't even speaking with us anymore.
The only time I would be concerned about this game's future is if the community went silent, right? If I heard crickets, then I would probably be worried for my job.
After the Force Science update in December, we have gotten exactly one bug fix patch and a lengthy post about the mechanics of eclipses, which was substantively nothing. Oh, and there was that post celebrating the 1-year anniversary since the launch into early access, which felt a little bit like a victory lap after losing spectacularly. Like a lot of you, I've tried to be patient with the development of this game. I really did. But after 15 months, we're not even close, and they aren't communicating with us anymore.
I would probably be worried.
No Man's Sky did this too, for those that remember. After a disastrous launch, they vanished for a few months, but they came back with a renewed commitment to fixing the game, acknowledging their failures, and they ultimately pulled it together. No Man's Sky is now a really enjoyable game, and while it doesn't deliver on everything it initially promised, it did deliver. But even that didn't take 15 months. So if you came here wondering if you should buy Kerbal Space Program 2, I'd say no. That's a hard pass, but you should probably check out Kerbal Space Program 1. It's one of the 3 games I'd keep if I could never play anything else again. It has a robust vanilla experience, and when you add in some mods, the game is honestly something special, which is why I'm so salty about the state of Kerbal Space Program 2 and the fact that it's looking more and more likely we aren't ever going to get the game we were promised. I hope I'm wrong. I hope they come out with all of the updates they promised over the next few months and make me look like a real jerk for saying all of this. But I want to hear what you guys think. Am I overreacting, or is the current state of Kerbal Space Program just not acceptable? Let me know down in the comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe. Thanks for watching.